Then I would like to introduce the most beautiful Rachel Hill. Hey, y'all see, I had to be jamming this time.
I know.
I need Heidi to come on and do her dance. And the gorgeous Heidi Nichols.
Go, Heidi.
Was a sad
Y'all.
silly. Y'all are so silly. Hey, y'all, listen, I missed y'all last week. I felt weird. Like, I really felt weird. I'm like, weird? I feel weird not doing the show, but we all needed a mental break. I really feel like it.
Yeah, last week was a stressful week.
It was very, very stressful. And, before we start our show, I kind of want, you guys to maybe chime in. We all know that this is a really hard time for a lot of people. We're dealing with so much that's going on. We're dealing with voting, and many people are concerned about how the voting is going to go this year. Now you got people now that there's small businesses that cannot open back up. You have coronavirus spreading like crazy. You still have the racial component that's going on. You still have police brutality going on. You still have good officers that feel like we don't know which way we're going. I mean, it's just a lot going on. You all make sure you take some time for yourself. You got to take a breath. You got to take a breather. I don't care whether you have to go to the lake and sit by the lake. I don't know what any other suggestion that you guys can give. Like I said before, I love to hear water run, take a hot bath. You guys have to.
That's what I did on Saturday. I felt like I was going stir crazy. So I went to the beach, took my lawn chair, I took me some snacks, some brews, and I just sat there and watched the water for hours. And I was people watching with my shades on so they couldn't see me being obvious. But it did make me feel a little bit better. But I don't know, I'm still drained, but I feel better than I did last week.
Yeah, definitely. Last week was like the heaviness of everything, and when you're out there and always can't stop but constantly combating misinformation, racist comments. I found myself finally, we went on a hike, and my family and it was the first time we really as a family left, and it was one of the hardest hikes I've been on in a while, and it just felt good to just push my body to exertion, try to get some sleep. And you're kind of like, okay, that was your 10 minutes of breath. Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
But I did miss you guys. I did.
I missed you guys too. I also had a family emergency. My mom is doing better.
Good.
She gave us a scare there for a second. So it was like family emergency, just everything else that's going on. So, but she's doing good. And I told her, I said, do not do that again. So
yeah, glad to hear she's doing okay though.
We're back now. Yeah, thanks, ladies. Thanks.
Yeah, Rachel, you have anything that maybe, I don't know, that you could think of that other people may not think of as far as relaxation or, I mean, because I know you feel it too. I mean, everything that's going on is just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Sometimes I just take a few minutes and just sit on the couch and chill. I've been working out my anxiety a lot.
Yeah.
So, just taking some downtime for yourself. I don't really leave my house because I have a medical condition. But, I just chill at the house, and the more, I'm working from home, I discovered I loved it. And you've gotten time back in your life, whether or not you realize it, from that drive and having to pick out an outfit and, pack your lunch. Like, you've been given time back in your life to kind of, do other stuff with. And I just love it. And it's amazing. And I'm back in office 2 days a week, and I'm trying to get it back down to 0. So I'm good with Mike DeWine shutting the state down because it's about health. And we need to take people's health seriously. We're almost at 150,000 deaths very quickly. So we got to be careful and take care of each other.
That's true. You all mask on, please. Mask up, y'all. I know that a lot of people don't believe in it and they feel a certain way. Listen, I would rather find out that the mask, we didn't need them, and then to find out that we should have been wearing them, and now we caught something. I think I said last week, my dad's best friend's brother died 3 weeks ago. And then
I'm sorry.
his brother was just confirmed to have coronavirus. We're going to set out a prayer for my father-in-law. He's also was tested positive for coronavirus as well. So it's real. And that's why it really upsets me when people are so ignorant to believe that this doesn't exist. It's almost as if they didn't believe racism exists, but we see people dying every day.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't personally affect them, so.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's a privilege.
I will say one thing about the school systems. I love it. I love that these teachers are banding together. Some of these teachers are saying, if y'all try to force us back to go to work, we will strike. I applaud the teachers. We love you guys. We support you guys, because I knew my kids were not going back.
And no scrubs better cross those lines either.
It better not. Y'all
better not.
The thing is, it's like, how do you expect our kids to keep themselves out of danger? We all know children.
They don't care. Did you hear what the governor of Missouri said?
No.
Talking about they gonna get it, they'll be fine. But you forget that these kids have to go home to people. Oh yeah, you can, it's on Facebook. He was like, they're gonna go to school, they're gonna get it, but they'll be fine. But the thing is, these kids are carriers, and they have grandparents that they're around, and people don't know they have it for 2 weeks. So you're exposing a whole spider web of other people, but that is the thing. And I'm not trying to make this political, but you see that the Republican Party does not care about the lives of anybody who's not part of the 1%.
But it's really it's real interesting how and I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it's interesting how our president, and I know a lot of people be like, that ain't my president, but let me explain to you why I say my president. He's my president. No, I didn't vote for him, but he's my president. It's called respect. I hated it when I heard many people calling Barack Obama. He ain't my president. It used to piss me off, because it doesn't make a difference whether you voted for him or not. If you claim you pledge allegiance to this flag and you love this flag so much, but you disrespect the leader of the country, you out of line. Now, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to like you, but I live in the United States, so he's our president, unfortunately, right now. It's really interesting how our president has been visiting many places that has elevated in coronavirus, but he never wears masks. And it makes me wonder, is there really a vaccination out there and they really not telling us?
I think he got what Vladimir Putin got, because they said Vladimir Putin was able to get his hands on a vaccination. So I think he did as well, because they like best friends.
Right. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so don't take this as law. Don't take it.
I am, depending on what it is.
Right.
Depending on what the conspiracy is.
Look, some of the conspiracy theories be on point though, but you all the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, I work out every morning. I work out hard. I do cardio every morning. 1,000 jumping jacks, 1,000 jump ropes, 100 up and outs, 200 knee lifts, because it's very important. This coronavirus is attacking your lungs. That's where it attacks. That's the reason why now you're seeing people testing negative for coronavirus or positive for pneumonia. Have y'all paid attention to that? Yes. There's a lot of people that are being hospitalized for pneumonia, but they're testing negative for coronavirus, which makes me still wonder, are y'all telling us the truth, or do they really have a coronavirus and y'all trying to look like the numbers has dropped? It attacks your lungs. You all, please, I'm telling you, cardio expands your lungs. You need that expansion if you get sick or if you get that virus. I'm telling you, because when they put the ventilator on you, what they're trying to do is expand your lungs. If you're doing some kind of cardio, even if you get up and do 50 jumping jacks in the morning, something to get your heart pumping, and that's anybody. If you have a senior parent or something like that, get them if you can go over and just work them out a little bit, or help them, get them a treadmill, something. You guys, it really works. So
we've actually been finding now that originally was thought to be very pulmonary, and now they're finding that it's also vascular, so it gets in your blood, which is, again, working out means you're going to keep your circulation, you're going to keep things moving. I mean, when they're doing the autopsies, they're finding blood clots in spaces that would not traditionally be where you would look for a blood clot in an individual. And so our bodies don't really know how to handle this. And it seems like if we're not sure and we don't know everything, why aren't we taking every single precaution to prevent?
Right.
We don't want to have to look back and say, I wish we would have, if only we had a, let's take every precaution, stay healthy, get out there and work out, wear your mask, keep your distance, stop acting like you have a medical degree. You do not, unless you do, then you have one. Stop acting like we know better than everybody. A virus is not political. A virus, it's existing, and we are politicizing it. We are weaponizing it. And this just has to be an individual. We have to stop it ourselves.
Right. I have
And
two
take
things that I
smart.
wanted to touch on. I saw something yesterday where this was a doctor, and he was saying that a lot of people saying I can't wear the mask because I can't breathe, because it's been said that it makes your oxygen levels drop, and he said that is absolutely false. He showed himself putting the mask on, doing his pulse ox. His oxygen level never changed. He said if that was the case, then doctors would not wear masks when they're in the operating room. There's no extra oxygen
For hours.
For
Right.
There's been
hours.
surgery that lasted 2 days. For hours.
If that was the case, if you were losing oxygen, so when you're walking around saying I have a medical condition because the oxygen, I'm not breathing fresh oxygen, false.
They just saying throwing stuff on the wall to see what stick. It's a deflection, just like anything. Talk about racism. It's just a deflection.
Right.
It's
And
one
the
of those.
second thing, did you see what Kiki said? I had heard about this, and she says, have you seen where people are getting calls about other results in the mail saying that they tested when they didn't even show up for their appointments for testing?
Yes, I saw a lady that said stood in line. The line was too long. She left. And when she got home, 2 weeks later, she got a positive result. And she said, I never took the test. But what else is interesting is that the way they're administering these tests. Some people say they went all the way back into all up in their nose and their head. That does not happen to me. They barely went up in my nostril, and they swirled around 5 times, and that's it. So my question is there a particular way you're supposed to do this test? Because if I don't do the test correctly, am I getting the right results?
Right.
Because a lot of people said it hurt, like they were like, it really hurts. It makes a tear come to your eye. That never happened to me. They never went up in my hole, that hole up in your sinus cavity. They didn't do that to me.
Well, when you look online and you look at the way the COVID test is supposed to be had, that's the diagram, that's the picture that they show as to why they now, some people doing it one way and some people doing it the other way. That just doesn't make sense to me. My mom, when she was in the hospital and they did the test, they did it all the way back in her nose.
Yeah, they didn't do that to me at all. And thank God, y'all, my test results came back yesterday or day before yesterday. I'm negative. I just thank God, but I wear my mask.
Didn't you take that like 2 weeks ago?
Yes, and that was the other thing. I don't know. I wonder how many people are going through that. We took our test Wednesday before last. I just got my results, which means the sad thing it means is if I wasn't masked up, and if I felt like a lot of people felt like I don't care, do you know how many people I would have exposed to this in a grocery store, anywhere that I have to go, because I don't leave my house. I'm like Rachel, I do have lupus, but I'm a lupus survivor all day, every day. But I have lupus, and I have to be very careful and be mindful of how I move. But I could have exposed my kids. I would expose, and my husband was exposed by somebody at his job. So it's real, y'all. Please mask up. I'm asking, for the safety of us that don't have a perfect bill of health, and that don't matter because we saw the doctor that was 100% healthy. If you guys seen the black doctor, he died. So it doesn't matter your health. You just want to stay healthy, so just in case you have to fight it off.
Let me ask y'all this, and this is not a conspiracy theory. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, shoot, here go Rachel.
I just was thinking about this because some people saying it's taking on average 16 days to get the test results back. Is that by design? Because these people out here moving around, moving it about. So 16 days, the test is at that point, you in 14 days, you infected people if you ain't quarantined.
That's right.
So the fact it's taking time to get these test results back, and like you said, you have some people who I don't care. They going out in public doing whatever. So they infecting people for 14 days. because it's taking 16 days and they don't know.
The idea behind it though is if you've been exposed and you're going to take the test, you're supposed to quarantine yourself immediately until you get
to.
Right, and that's the thing. So maybe they want as many people to get it as they can.
Right. And
but then part of it, that also gets into there's a backup, right? Like people are forgetting this was the whole reason that we didn't go on a shutdown because this was going to cure the virus. We went on a shutdown so we didn't overwhelm our medical systems.
Right.
So people keep going out there, and what they're not understanding is that when you go out there, you're either putting yourself at risk or you're going to be asymptomatic and put other people at risk. And then you're going to maybe or send somebody into the hospital to take a bed, to take a ventilator. We already have hospitals who ICUs are at capacity.
Right.
And so when you're getting that testing, unless it's for your job, you're supposed to keep your rear end in the house and wait till your results. It shouldn't matter 14 days to get your results. If you're asymptomatic and you're just waiting for your results because you're not supposed to be around people.
How about those people who don't believe in it shouldn't go to the hospital? Stay at home. You don't believe in it? When you get it, stay at home. I mean, don't go to the hospital. Don't take up the bed. Since you didn't believe in it, don't go to the doctor anymore. And it'd be good, since people don't believe in science and doctors and Dr. Fauci is wrong, don't go to any more doctors. Right. That way I can get to my appointments on time. Since you don't believe in medicine. Just stop going to doctor, period. You notice that people go get treated for all these diseases, but now they don't believe in corona. You've been listening to your doctor all this time, but now you don't believe in corona.
Right.
Don't go to doctor no more, so I can get in my appointments on time.
Right. So listen, y'all, we wanted to touch on that because it's really serious to all of us. Heidi lives with her dad. Her dad is up in age. Rachel has illness issues. Jocelyn has issues. I have issues. We have family members. Y'all, please, I know a lot of you all respect us and you all love us. Please just hear us out on that behalf. Now we can go ahead and get into the show, y'all.
Yes. Where'd you go? You cut out again.
I know. My internet is tripping.
It's going in and out.
In and out.
Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. Listen, don't laugh. We've been having some weird weather up here in Atlanta. Can y'all see me? Okay, I'm back. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, and Jocelyn, Rachel, and Heidi, you guys are still at home, and I say at home because no matter what, Cleveland, Ohio is going to always be my home. I've been talking to my mom recently, and she's been telling me how many shootings you all have been enduring at the hands of us, at the hands of other young black men, young black women. I think she told me today a 12-year-old little girl was shot and killed, or yesterday. I know about the 8-year-old, I think that was in East Cleveland.
Yeah.
I've been hearing it, and I kind of wanted to touch on it for just a few reasons. Number one, and I'll say this, I understand when people say black on black crime. When you say that, I hope you're using it as a slogan. Like this black person killed this black person, so I'm gonna call it a black on black crime, and not you're saying all this black on black crime. Because number one, what kind of crime would you think it was gonna be? It's in a community. So if the community is predominantly black, who do you think the crime is going to be against? If I was in a predominantly white community and it was crime going in the community, who do you think would be it would be whites committing crime? Or if I was in a Hispanic neighborhood, it would be Hispanics. So unless you're going to start calling every crime white on white crime, listen, say a community divided against itself. That's how I feel about it. I'm a little upset with the parents because I called the parents out before. Some of y'all parents know who y'all children are. They are a product of you. And if you that parent that can't stay at home because you have to work, I respect you and I commend you, but you know who your children are. And if you don't, you need to get to know them. These parents need to start stepping up to the plate and finding out what's going on with their children. You got children that got guns in their rooms, in their bedrooms. They running out 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. These parents acting like they don't know what their children are doing. To me, you need to be locked up. Because you shouldn't have had those children if you didn't want to be a parent to them. You are responsible for your children. And I know some of y'all gonna get upset with me, but it's the real. If you got a child that's living with you that's under the age of 18 and they running amok like that and causing problems in the community, you know who your child is. Just like the community knows who your child is. I hate that we don't live. I don't know if you guys remember it took a village.
Yep.
I remember my neighbors would be like, I tell your mama.
Yep.
Or they have full authorization to beat you too.
They sure did. So it's almost like we have to go back to that village mentality. The communities really need to come together as a community. We can't do this by ourselves. We can't do this alone. We already fighting police brutality. That's a whole nother subject. But I'm talking about us killing each other because I feel like it's counterproductive. You got all of us out here marching side by side, shoulder to shoulder, every skin complexion, because again, I'm going to say racism has been shattered. That spirit is done. Y'all still fighting it, but it's a done deal because it's been exposed. And anytime you expose something, it's always got to be change behind it. So I'm going to leave that there. What I'm going to say is you got humanity standing together, walking side by side. If you are white and you stand for the right thing, no matter who is for us against, you are my brother and my sister. If you are Hispanic and you stand for what's right, no matter who's for us against, you are my brother and my sister. If you are Asian or Arab and you stand, you are my brother or sister. If you are Black and you got that attitude like, I only benefits when it benefits me, to me, you ain't my brother or my sister. And we the same, what they would say, the same tribe. Let's put it that way. So I have an issue. I just have an issue. I feel like we have got to get out there and get more involved. I know that it's going to be a hard road because of the trust with police. So back in the day, you did have it where we trusted the police. And that's how a lot of our crimes were solved. People don't know that. They were solved because people would call and tell it. Now they can't trust the police no more. And if you watch as the further away the police got from the community, did y'all realize the crime rate rose? But where did the effect show the most? In our community.
In the community.
In our communities.
Too, Nakia, can you talk about like the inability of police budgeting to involve witness protection? So, you know, people would tell, but now they know that there is no really, you know, witness protection available. So they don't tell because they know their life is at stake, because a criminal could easily get to them if they were going to testify. So that's an issue as well, because across the country, there's no budget for witness protection. You know, maybe in a federal case, but you have a lot of crimes taking place out there and people know stuff and they want to come forward, but the no snitching is because they're going to get killed.
Right. But my thing is, Rachel, I know you about to jump on this, Heidi. Why is it that we don't have something in place for them already, where you ain't got to, as long as you come, you swear in front of whatever, you can testify, put your hand up, say exactly what happened, write your statement, and they don't have to know where it came from. I get it that they say that the accused should always be able to face their accuser, but that should be good enough. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a violent crime and you know you got the evidence and all you're doing basically is just, this is what happened. I shouldn't have to be putting myself in that kind of predicament. They shouldn't have to have witness protection. It should be already set across the board, but it's so sad because they almost force you. I know that my son was going through a case, and I'm not going to speak on, you guys know what it's about. And I remember the prosecutor calling me, he was a victim, telling me if he didn't show up at court, they were going to send a warrant for his arrest.
He's the victim.
And he's the victim. He was the victim.
Right.
And at that, I lost it. I'm not even gonna lie. I went all the way.
Well, it's technically supposed to be that the victim can choose whether or not they wish to face their predator. It's the system's supposed to be designed to protect the victim.
Right.
And it doesn't.
To answer your question, Nakia, some of this gets into what is the historical reasons for the police, right? People need to understand the police, as we know it now, is this organized, community funded entity. Sometimes people think about the Boston police where you were first seeing it in the 1800s, but the first police forces were actually slave patrols. And this was happening in the Carolinas colonies before independence, starting around 1704-ish. And it was completely designed to only focus on keeping the slaves in control. Similarly, you have what were called the Indian agents, which were designed to go out and kill American Indians, Native Americans, First Nations people. So some of these entities, the roots are so deeply rooted in focusing and oppressing on particular communities. And even though you have people over time coming in and trying to be a part of what they believe in the larger mission, the root of these entities is overtly racist.
Racism. So the thing is, and it's so funny because Jocelyn, I know you guys remember my first video coming back after I was off of Facebook for a while was God said he was trying to rip up the roots. And that's what's happening now. When everybody asks me, what do we need to do to get the police officers to a standard to where people can respect them again, where being a police should be a respectable, honorable job. It used to be when police officers would get killed. I know in Cleveland, we would line the streets in tears like we love y'all, and we didn't even know these officers. It was so different. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the root, you have to tear it all the way down. You got to rebuild it from the bottom. And to me, New York and Los Angeles is the catalyst for police departments. Most police departments try to mimic themselves after New York and California. So those are the two that you got to go in there. You got to do something different. I did speak to Officer Raymond. Raymond, don't you kill me. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm so sorry, y'all. Sometimes my mind goes, I'm gonna think of it before we get off. But Raymond is a police officer. He was one of the officers that was in the movie about the New York officers when they were telling them to go out and target African Americans or minorities. Right. And
Josh, ain't a movie, is it? That's real life, ain't it?
Yeah, but it's real life, but it's a documentary. Yeah. It's really good. I'll make sure that you guys know the name of it. He has now decided he's a sergeant or a lieutenant. He may be a sergeant. He moved up the ranks, and now he's decided to step down and run for office in New York to make listen, I got to make sure I get that brother props.
Because he's running for council, right?
Yes, he is.
It's Edwin Raymond.
Edwin Raymond. Yes, we will have him on the show. I did talk to him, you all. He will be on the show.
Yay.
When we do the show with him, I want to make sure we do a fundraiser for him because it costs to run, and that's where they're trying to block him at. But no better person to sit on council than a good police officer because they know the ins and outs of everything. So I just wanted to mention.
I was trying to find the name of that movie.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's so good. It is so good. Y'all, it's a good documentary. You're gonna have
I'll Google it.
Okay. So I really wanted to touch on that. The thing that I want to talk to you all about is I feel like with us continuing to kill one another, it almost
Crime and Punishment.
Crime and Punishment, y'all. Write that down. Crime and Punishment. Yeah. He's in Crime and Punishment. He's one of the officers in Crime and Punishment. He's an amazing, amazing king. I've met him. We've sat on a panel together. He's amazing. So we will have him on the show, you guys. Please check him out. Check his page out. I have talked about him on the Officer Jones page, you guys. If I have some New York listeners that really want to see effective change in the police department in New York, and we should all be pulling for that. Like I said, most police departments mimic New York and Los Angeles.
And that's because they're some of the larger the police departments, right?
And they got some of the best training. They're some of the best trained law enforcement officers.
And just, I want to make sure, like when I was talking about the slave patrols, it's also really important. It's not if somebody was to watch this and say, well, see, slave patrols, that's over. It's also really important to understand that then the role of the police was to, after abolition, it was to make sure about any vagrants or loiterers after, and specifically to focus again on the Black community and the Indigenous community. And then you had things like, Jim Crow laws. The police were designed and their mission statements were to focus on enforcing the Jim Crow laws. Then you had the war on drugs, which we know came out of the Nixon years, was intentionally designed to, instead of using the unfavorable or unpalatable terms of racism, got called war on drugs, which were focused on hyper policing and hyper warrant officering particular communities that, oh, that's right, happened to be predominantly Black community, right? So it's not that this was just a slave patrol thing. This is just taken multiple forms. Those roots are so wide and so deep that every time, like, we got to dismantle that whole system and pulling up. It's like when you're out weeding, if you just pull the top of a weed off, it grows back. And sometimes it propagates. Sometimes you're releasing its seeds. But when you get down there and dig in the root, and sometimes it's annoying and difficult and you get all dirty. But at the end of the day, that weed won't grow again.
Right.
Yeah, but people want to keep that weed around. I mean, just think about it.
Serving a purpose.
You have counter protests to Black people saying their lives matter.
Right.
You have people counter protesting that.
Right. We about to touch on that. We about to roll right.
But I mean, just regarding these roots of racism, you have people who are mad at me for saying my life matters, and you want to protest against that. That's how deep.
And that makes no kind of sense. And like I said, if we all looked at it as we are all one race, the human race, we are just all different complexions, all different kinds of hair. We may belong to different tribes. I may be from a specific tribe or whatever, but we are all one human race. So if I'm saying all lives matter, and I truly believe it, Rachel, why would I be upset with you for saying Black Lives Matter? Wouldn't Black Lives Matter be included in all lives matter?
That is the whole point.
It makes, so to me, what you're telling me is you're blatantly telling me I don't give a damn about your life. What about my life? My life matter. That's what you really
No, I don't care about your Black life. Because if all lives matter, you be out here protesting with me instead of against me.
Right. And
not denying racism and not denying inequalities and injustice. Right. You wouldn't be denying none of those. You wouldn't say systemic racism doesn't exist. Right. Institutionalized racism doesn't exist. You wouldn't say racism doesn't exist for all lives matter. You be out there marching with me. Flat out.
Exactly.
Sorry,
that's what I said. It just makes no sense. It's very disrespectful. It's almost like if a white person said, white lives matter, I would say, absolutely, they do. I'm not going to get offended. I wouldn't get offended because I would hate
Black people in balance.
No, but I'm trying to make a statement saying, basically, if a Chinese person said Chinese people's lives matter, I absolutely agree. Hispanic lives matter. I absolutely agree. I ain't going to say, no, all lives matter. Like I got an attitude because you're included in all lives. So some of y'all saying that need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
But it's only in opposition to when Black people say Black lives matter. And
it doesn't make any kind of sense. And let me tell you, some of you all that are doing that, you look very, very foolish to those of us that are very intelligent. We're looking at Black people sideways and we saying to you, oh, you racist. You either racist or you trying to say that your life is more important than mine. And that's how we're in this predicament right now. That's why we're in such a predicament right now, because people, certain races or people, groups of people or statuses of people feel like they're superior to others. We all bleed the same daggone way. We all go through some of the same things. I don't give a damn whether you rich, poor, you white or Black. We all hurt the same. We all feel the same pain. We are all equal, period. Sorry to bust your bubble.
That's my white comfort is more important than your life.
I don't like that.
Yep.
That's how they think though. Look at all these videos. I'm gonna call the police on you. She's casing garages while she's riding her bike. My comfort is more important than your life, and I'm gonna weaponize the police against you.
You know what? I really think it's just hatred. It's just that it's hatred. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah.
Some of it don't even have nothing to do with comfort, because what do you I'm not uncomfortable because you riding around on a bike. It's just hatred. It's just mean. You don't belong over here. Well, I don't belong over here because I'm not the same from the same tribe you are from. Sweetheart, I work every day. There are many Blacks. Let me tell you something. I'm not trying to be racist or disrespectful. There are more whites on welfare than they are Black. So don't let us get us started, because we'll pull it up for you.
Welfare was invented for white people by white people.
Absolutely. So I would never ever shun anybody on it. You're supposed to use it as a stepping stone, but stop trying to demean the African-American tribe of people just because we don't move or we don't think like you, or we're all made differently. How come we just can't respect one another? We may have beliefs, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm glad you walked into that. So Black Lives Matter. Jocelyn, I know this your bad. I know, look at Heidi ready. She like, yeah, this is
okay. So I got into a discussion with a guy that was on our page, and he could be watching. And he said, you all supporting Black Lives Matter, you should be ashamed of yourself because they don't believe in the family system. Their whole idea is to oust out men. They don't have their whole idealities. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I asked him, I said, where did you get your information from? He said, and he, smartly, well, you can Google it. You can Google their mission statement. And I said, well, I will. And I surely did. And so then I read it, and it's kind of lengthy. But then I was reading, I'm like, what is he talking about? What's he talking about? What is he talking about? And then I came to this spot, and I said, this must be what he's talking about. So I'm just going to read this one little spot, and then I'll go back in a second. So this part right here where it says, this is a part of Black Lives Matter's mission statement. And they say, we make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private, even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. That is the part that I believe that he's talking about. I think that he misunderstands when they say we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family, because families are made up more than just the original husband-wife children. There are so many other ways that families are made up. And it's not saying we're taking the husband or the man out of the situation. We're just saying, let's expand it. And essentially what we talked about earlier, it takes a village to raise a family. So for me, when I read that, I didn't get that we're taking the man out of the picture. I got, we're extending the family outside of just the husband, wife, child, so that we as a collective village can help raise the children. So that's one thing, because I've seen that particular argument on several posts that I've seen where they're saying that Black Lives Matter is trying to take the man out of the whole equation. I also saw another part where it was saying that they're trying to, let's see, it says, we build a space that affirms Black women and it's free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. That doesn't mean we're taking men out of the equation. That just means everything ain't focused on just y'all. It's focused on all of us, and women are included in that all of us. So that whole idea of taking men out of the equation, I just read the whole statement. Y'all can pull it up, and all you got to do is Google Black Lives Matter's mission statement, and you can read it in full, because it's very lengthy. So I'd like to dispel that myth. That is not what they believe. If you read that and you take something else out of that, please enlighten me.
You know what else I took from it? I took from it that unfortunately, the normal homes now are usually single parent homes. And
yes,
what you're trying to say basically is that we're trying to support those mothers that don't have the men in their lives that they need, or the men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in their lives. And what we're trying to do is build a village around them. That's what they're saying. And some of the men that are getting offended, my question to you is, what's the problem?
Right.
What is the problem?
Why is it
you should be right. You should be part of that village as well. You should be moving around and embracing that Black Lives Matter as well.
That's right.
You should have asked them who took the fathers out the home. They took themselves out.
Well, that wasn't. I was more focused on having him see that is not what that meant. That is not what they were saying. They're not saying they don't support men in the home. They're just saying they ain't there. And so what we're going to do is provide that support with this village. Now, if you are in the home,
and we trying to get this village around our sons so that our sons can be in the home with their children.
Because what's our stat?
They can know what they can watch what we're doing and know that how important it is for the man to be in the home.
Yeah, because what's the stat we at with unmarried women?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like I said, I don't care about their mission statement, because in real life, I know single mothers. Yeah. So who's taking a man out the home? And usually a man has removed his own self out the home because he didn't want to be with her. Well, you should have married her then. If you did, if you didn't want to have children, have children with your wife. That way you ain't like, I don't like her, because you want to have children with her. That's your own fault. So you remove yourself out the home, but want to complain because somebody wants to provide a village for those families who have had men leave them. Can't have it both ways. Tell me stop.
Or
Stop.
the gun, or they got caught up in this. Of course, we all know that a lot of stuff was designed to keep the men out of the home. They got caught up because my thing is sometimes you all put yourselves in a position where you're going to jail and you know you're going to be out of the home, and then when you come home it's hard for you. We're trying to build this village so that this younger generation don't have to go down that road.
That's
You
right.
understand what I mean? It's very important. But let me say one thing, you all. And I want to make sure that I make this clear. Everybody that you see that have on a Black Lives Matter shirt and that's out there protesting and saying it is not a member of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a slogan that many of us are saying, hey, Black Lives Matter. I just seen the that basketball team, all of them had on Black Lives Matter. I just start screaming and crying because I said, yes, people are finally getting it. Yes, it's sad that we have to keep saying it, but thank God that people are getting it. I just need for us, some of y'all that's out there that's watching this, that's running around here acting a fool, shooting at each other over territory. Your ass don't own nothing. Excuse me. That ain't really your land. I'm from the West Coast. I'm from the East Side. Are you out of your mind?
Right.
It probably should be yours. Your ancestors probably worked it, but it ain't yours. And you killing your brother over it. For real, you killing these young babies. Bullets don't have no eyes. If you want to play Russian roulette, go to the service. And the service still taking people, y'all. They done stopped. I'm pretty sure the service is still taking people, right?
Well, they'll create another war.
Exactly. Go to the service. Us mothers are tired of burying our children at the hands of other Blacks, at the hands of racist people, at the hands of cops. What else? What do we need to do? This is just getting out of hand.
Right.
So I'm sorry, y'all. That gets to me.
So the other thing about the whole Black Lives Matter thing is, let's also dispel that it was not started in regards to police.
That's right.
The police themselves. It was started because of Trayvon Martin. That's what really made it spin out of control and made people start recognizing and noticing. So I'm going to read this little bit from the mission statement. It says, 4 years ago, what is now known as Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started out as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. In the years since, we've committed to struggling together and to imaging and creating a world free of anti-Blackness where every Black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. And then it goes into how they were enraged by the death of Trayvon Martin by George Zimmerman. And later, a year later, they set out together on the Black Lives Matter Freedom Ride to Ferguson, where we know about that killing. I can't remember the guy's name. Was it Freddie Gray? Freddie Gray. And so basically that was how it was started. It had everything to do with, a Black person, social and economic and political justice not being served towards them. It had nothing to do. Now, if the police were the one who was committing the crime, then let it fit. But it didn't. That crime was not committed by a police officer against Trayvon Martin. That was somebody who wanted to be one real bad. So
right. So that's we wanted to make sure, and being ex law enforcement, to let officers know that some of y'all that are not educated enough, that Black Lives Matter was never, ever, ever formed to be counteractive to the police. It started with Trayvon Martin, and what happened was because of some of the injustice, because he was a white man, it's a young Black male, and how the system treated him. And unfortunately, we're seeing it in the police department as well. Because I'm a white police officer, I got a badge and a gun that makes me a god. I can treat you and do whatever I want to do to you. But not only am I disrespectful on the street, I'm disrespectful in the squad room too, because I look at my co-workers like niggas too. Now I'm just keeping it all the way 100. It's division inside of the police departments too. And it's sad because some of us as law enforcement keep our mouths shut instead of saying something, because if it's a divide inside of the department, if they treat us funny inside of the department, what did we think they was going to do out on the streets? And that's what it is. So now Black Lives Matter do unfortunately involve police officers in there doing things that they have no business doing, just because they feel like we're beneath them because we don't have the same social background or the same financial background, or we don't have the same color of skin that they have. So
that's right.
Now it counts, but in the beginning it was never formed ever to be this rival against the police. It was never meant to be that way.
Right.
That's people not knowing the roots of an organization, one, right? That's exactly what you're talking about, police originally. Similarly, when like we're in an era right now of, like you've mentioned before about hashtags, right? Everything's a hashtag. Everything is, how can I like break it down into a quick sound bit? But that also means we're in an era of rhetoric. And so we'll say things like, oh, Black Lives Matter, all lives matters. Black Lives Matters, Blue Lives Matters, and forgetting Black Lives Matters and the mission, right? Oh, well, they're anti-family, they're anti-man. They are, I've also been told that they are anti-Christian. But Marxist. And when you're reading things, it's challenging. What I'm reading when I'm reading their mission statement is, it's saying, let's no longer operate within a colonialistic framework. Let's no longer solely see the world through a Eurocentric perspective. Let's remember that all of us come from different kinds of family structures, different kinds of gender dynamics, gender roles. We all have this different background. It's not that one is right and one is wrong, but let's make a space where it's okay for us to actually support and not have a rhetoric that's putting somebody down. So when I'm hearing somebody saying, oh, this is anti-man, and when you're reading that everything is about lifting one another up, why, when we're talking about lifting the woman up, does that mean that at the detriment of the man? In some ways, is that not the same argument of Black Lives Matters, wait a minute, what about white lives, right? Absolutely. So instead of it being don't be defensive.
Right.
Absolutely.
Get involved.
Exactly the same.
Right. Get involved. I mean, if you feel like, I mean, they're counter against then why don't you step up to the plate? We need these men to step up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? We need these men like the brothers that marched up on Stone Mountain. I support you in MR. I know I got the letters wrong, but I love you all. I support you all. I wanted to say something real quick. I didn't tell you guys this, but I'm about to start my own women's shooting club.
Really?
Ooh, yes. Kiki, you hear me now? Y'all hear me now? Y'all hear me now? We are going to, I know I got to do some things with the NRA, but I think that every woman should know how to handle a firearm, know how to disassemble a firearm, know how to render it safe, and know how to be surgical with it. So every woman that's going to be a part of my group is going to be surgical with it, but they also got to have the right mentality, because I guess we had a group of people walking around where the young man was killed at Wendy's in Atlanta, and I guess some group is walking around in military uniforms or something, and they have their weapons out, and I get it, they're trying to make a statement to say, hey, y'all gonna by any means necessary, but they're firing into innocent people's cars, and they killed an 8-year-old child. That
was in Atlanta, right?
Yes, that was in Atlanta. So my thing is, if you're not disciplined, you shouldn't carry a weapon. I don't give a daggone who you are, male or female. So for me, I gotta make sure that the women that's gonna march with us and walk with us, Brian, we got you. We already got brothers that's with us. The women that are gonna be ready, that's gonna be able to be armed. I'm not saying we gonna run around like military. We women, but we might be that secret weapon. I'm just saying, I want to be surgical with mine. If I got to use it, I want to.
You already surgical with yours. What you talking about?
I am a little surgical. I get a little loose, but I think every woman, honestly, should learn how to fire a firearm, render it safe. You never know when a time may come and you're put in that predicament and you don't want to be panicking. I don't know what to do. You want to be able to have a conscious mindset to know when to move, when not to move. So I am putting together a group of women. We're going to have our weapons. We'll make sure everybody get their license. We'll make sure that I have certain people that will be doing the classes in different states. And it's not just going to be in Atlanta. It's going to be in every state where we're going to come together on one accord at certain times. And listen here, it's for the female human race. Long as you about the right thing, I don't have a problem walking shoulder to shoulder with you. So I'm talking about everybody. I really want to get y'all involved. I'll touch on it a little bit more, but I am about to start a shooting club, so get ready. That's gonna be hot.
We need to start arming ourselves.
Already ready to go. I can get
We
my
do. The sex trafficking, shoot, we getting attacked as well. They snatching women off the streets, hanging them too. All this kind of stuff. You got men still beating on women like they've lost their mind. You need to get surgical with it.
Did you hear what I said? Does that mean I could get my pink gun again?
We gonna have to listen. We might have to interview Jocelyn because I'd be a little nervous sometimes.
So not surprised you have a pink gun. So not surprised.
It was nice. I had to get rid of it.
Why? Uh-oh.
We need to make sure that people are mentally capable.
Did you have to file the serial numbers off?
She's gonna have to tell you about that story later. It might incriminate herself.
Did you have to file the serial numbers off?
No, I wasn't gonna tell about the story. I'm just saying I know about the little Tasmanian devil.
Yep,
you know how the Tasmanian devil is like, and all of a sudden, you know how you that thing.
And honestly, we have to make sure that your mentality is right too. Because if you got a quick temper, you might not need to have a gun, especially not right now. I got a question. There has a lot of responsibility that comes with it. Rachel.
I think I have my emotions a little more in check these days.
Does the gun still have the serial numbers on it?
What do you say? What do you ask?
I want to know if you filed off those serial numbers.
Oh no, I did not file the number off. No.
Okay, just checking.
No.
She gonna tell y'all this story. We just can't tell it on here.
It was legit.
Can't be on here though. Not on here.
I'll tell you when we're not on here no more.
Yeah, Kiki, you can only imagine. The other thing I was gonna say is, oh wow, it's 9 o'clock already, y'all. Wow. We didn't even get to talk about we were gonna talk about the officers and the racism and the police department.
The police.
Right, and defunding.
We got carried away with COVID. We got carried away. COVID took 30 of our minutes.
It's
man, I'm like, listen, 2020, y'all, listen. I don't know how y'all feel about 2020. 2020 has been a year that I will never forget. And I'm gonna say the good and the bad. I really don't. I love it. I'm glad. I have no regrets. I hate the fact that people are dying from the COVID. The thing with the police brutality and all the uprisings and the marches, this was needed.
That part, yeah, but all the other stuff, I would just like to, can we just fast forward on to 2021, please? Just to get us there.
Listen, I want you all to kind of.
What's good?
Mm-hmm.
I think I cut out. Sorry.
Yeah, you did. What did you say?
I said, but what's good? Like, as much as all of this sucks to go through, we're talking about it.
Yes.
It's not hiding. This is not because all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's racists. No, these same people have been going along during the kind of skipping along. Life is good.
Legislating.
Thoughts. If we finally, people are talking about it. So in that way, good.
Working in government, legislating racism.
Listen, and not only that, I'm glad we're slowed down so that we can start paying attention. Vote. You better vote like your life depending on it.
Literally does.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm going to say this. Y'all stop putting Kanye West on y'all wall talking about he running for president. Why are y'all feeding that man that type of energy? Y'all know good and well that man has some mental health issues after his mother died. We should be praying for him. And number two, the 2% of y'all that's been talking about y'all gonna vote for him, y'all really need to go get a psychological evaluation. Because this man is showing you he's not right in his head. He's not prepared to run the United States of America. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's supposed to be an honor to run the United States. And now we got people in there that I feel like are not qualified to be in that position, and you're making it look like it's less than what it should be. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be in there. You're supposed to have integrity. You're supposed to move a certain way. That man is not ready to do anything. That man has a lot of mental health issues. Stop putting him on y'all walls. A house divided against itself can't stand. It's all about you taking your focus off of what we need to be focused on. The people that you're looking at voting for, look for what they did for the past 7 years. Go back. Not trying to be disrespectful. If I go back maybe 6 months, I remember seeing Kanye West with a daggone mega hat on that said Donald Trump. Now, I'm not trying to be, I don't know if y'all saw it. I saw it.
Yeah, and he was supporting him and talking about all kind of stuff. I mean, come on.
And now all of a sudden he hates this man. Come on, y'all. This man has some mental health issues. And honestly, I'm not being funny. I'm going to pray for Kanye West because he really, I feel really bad for him. I think after he lost his mom.
If you even look at and listen to what he's talking about, the things that he's talking about, you just go, oh, well, let me, woo.
Yes.
Like,
I will also say this. I'm going to say this in my closing remark, and then I'm done. I'm going to let Rachel and them take the floor, and Heidi and them. Listen, if you're capable, you're physically healthy, you have a way to get there. You have the right to vote, so you're not a felon that can't vote. You don't have, some people do have religious beliefs on why they don't vote, and I would never, ever, ever, ever cross that line to call them out because I have my own personal beliefs that I would be very offended if somebody called me out on it. But if you are capable of voting and you are not registered, you need to get up and register. And if you don't vote, don't you go complaining about what's going on out here. We don't want to hear it. I'm being totally honest. You can mail in your vote now. You don't have an excuse. Some of y'all that have felonies that can't vote, get some cars, rent some vans, take people to vote. Y'all know the seniors in the neighborhood, get y'all some of y'all younger people, get out there and make sure these seniors make it to the polls and make it there safely because you know it's going to be some rhetoric at the polls. We need to make sure we're taking care of one another. So that's where I'm going to end it. 2020 is very important. Vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. You vote for the voice that you feel like is going to best serve you and who you are and represent you as a person. Who I vote for is none of your business. It definitely ain't Trump. I'm going to leave that there. And it damn sure ain't Kanye West. I love y'all. I love y'all. Good night.
I'm going to go after that voting statement because I find myself in regular conversations about, well, okay, so 'cause it's no secret, I am not a Donald Trump fan whatsoever. And I think that he's a walking propaganda for fascism, and he doesn't care even about racism. He cares about himself. He cares about money. He cares about ultimate authority. So I'm not a Trump fan, but I'm also not a Biden fan. And anyone who's saying to me like, oh, well, you got to go and support the Democrat Party. I have problems with both parties. But at the end of the day, right now, I'm only given those options because one, I'm also not going to continue to feed into the Kanye. So I find this horribly sad how everybody's laughing. This man is blatantly suffering in front of our eyes. And the voting out there, it's only gonna make him worse. If you give a darn about that human and you keep, I had a student today, I'll vote for him, he makes good music. Okay. Anywho, I was gonna give other examples, but let's start talking about how we could, if, instead of telling me right now, like, oh, well, the Democrat Party is not good either. After we handle this next coming election, then let's talk about how we can rebuild and we can dismantle and be serious about it, right? Like the moment we start to talk about things and then everyone's kind of like, it's too exhausting. Well, we're actually not, according to our founding governance, supposed to be having a two-party system. That was not the way our government was designed to be set up. Again, I'm not a founding fatherist either. So I just say that to say, I understand there's terrible things on that man's record as well in Biden's voting record, but right now it's like, let's just like Nakia said, vote for somebody that's just not going to destroy us all right now, please. And vote in other stinking elections. How do people get to that level? How do people become career politicians? Because none of us are voting for our council members, our mayors, our governors, right? Like, go to every single election. That's my feeling on the elections. Our lives really truly do depend on voting right now. Yeah, so only way we can do that makes us vibrant and wonderful, and there's my word, and we got more stuff to talk about. We got a lot of work to do, and do please take care of yourself. I found myself having a really hard week. I had some pretty hard news delivered to me, and I was able to talk to my family. I was able to reach out to my sisterhood right here and get some really encouraging words and pull myself back up and get back out there and continue the fight. So do tend to yourself, do reach out, do ask for help, but keep fighting.
Yeah, when we don't vote, we get the government that we deserve. So let's keep in mind that also, like Heidi mentioned, I was about to call you Holly.
I was like, what? I've been friends with you since I was 8.
I'm sorry. Nakia mixes us up all the time. Sorry. But two of the most important things as well. Yeah, Nakia, you call her Rachel and you call me Heidi all the time, which is fine. It's fine. We're like twins anyway. It's fine.
Yes.
But flipping the Senate and keeping the House of Representatives Democratic is going to be key, because you can elect whoever you want to for president, but you nullify his power when the Senate is, democratically held and the House of Representatives. So this president has blatantly shown, I don't call him my president, Nakia. I don't give him that respect. I'm sorry. He's just a dude on the street. If I got an invitation to go to the White House, I would not go.
I wouldn't go now, but.
Yeah, I want to pose that question on Facebook. But the Senate and the House of Representatives is the most important thing. You look at Mitch McConnell, who's been there for 40 years, and you look at his state, how terrible it is, how poorly ran it is. He's doing that to all of the American people as well. We need to get these old white men out, because the government does not function for you until it starts to look like you.
Oh, that one.
I hit y'all with two today. I hit y'all with two today. I hit y'all with two today.
Yeah. Somebody somewhere is singing right now.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
That was good. That was good. That need to be a hashtag.
I got another one. If your vote didn't matter, why do they keep trying to take it away?
Boom.
The greatest power you have is to take theirs away.
Uh-oh.
3. That's 3. That's a triple. That's a 3-point shot.
Just Rachel, you so wrong. You got these people aren't talking about he ain't my president either. You just a problem child. Lord,
a rebellious child.
You rebellious. All these rebellious people, and he ain't my president. Y'all just shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. He's my disgruntled, crazy president, unfortunately, because I used to get angry when people was like, President Barack Obama ain't my president. I was like, he's the president of the United States. And I said, well, I cannot, in good faith, turn around and say this man is not my president when I was acting a fool when they were saying about now that's that's still my president, honey.
But I respect that. I respect that you own your feelings the one way. I mean, I respect
right, and I respect right. I respect Rachel too as well, and I know Jocelyn. Go ahead, Jocelyn. Here it comes.
What
I know he ain't your president too. I already know.
I said that's the president. He is the president. That's all I say about that.
Okay.
I don't, I'm gonna just. So anyway, my closing. I'm gonna just say, be nice to one another this week. I've had a very rough week. I don't know why. I've just been emotional. So I don't know if it's in the air, and so if it is in the air, just everybody be nice to one another. We talked at the beginning on the onset of everything of things that we can do for self-care, and I took care of myself this week by making sure I got out of the house. I've been in this house nonstop for like maybe 12 days. I hadn't been out the house, and it was just like I couldn't stand it. So
got that much food?
Huh?
You got that much food?
Well, yeah, it's just me at home right now. Jordan is with his father.
Oh, okay.
Right now. So I'm sorry. So it's just me and the dogs here at the house right now. So I don't have to cook for nobody right now. So
Okay. Marvin Green, I'm gonna run for president. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I was being funny. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jocelyn. No. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jocelyn. I'm sorry.
Okay, so she's gonna be all the way off. Okay, so anyways, yes, everyone be kind to themselves this week, and make sure that you do some sort of self-care. Self-care is very important. It's extremely important. You've got to keep your mental, physical. I just started my physical therapy because I was in a car accident a couple weeks ago, and my shoulders and neck have been killing me. And I think this is the first step to feeling better. So I'm really excited about that because I got to get back working out and doing all that. But I can't do that until I take care of this. So self-care is what I want to talk about and leave with tonight. And that's all I have to say.
Like that.
Thursday, don't forget, you guys. Tell them about the women. We will meet you guys.
Oh, Thursday. We will be on the women's page, Healings for Women by a Woman. So if you have not joined that page as of yet, that group as of yet, please do so. We will have another forum where we got some things for the ladies that we got to talk about. And that's every Thursday at 7 o'clock, Healings for a Woman by a Woman. And then we will see you guys here again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We love you guys.
We love you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Even though somebody made us go over. I don't know who it was. It was me.
You.
Chefs, cause she's a strange one. She's so bougie. Never did. I'm a savage. Had a too nasty. Talk big shit, but my bank account match it. Hood, but I'm classy. Rich, but I'm ratchet. Haters get my name in their mouth, not a gagging. Bougie. He said the way that thing move is so bougie. Tell that boy we gotta keep it lowly, me the room.